Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Prism View Better Than Excel and or Smart List. Today it's presented by Senator Prism, and Michael Hollingsworth is going to be our presenter today. All right, so I'll start out with introductions. So Ash Canali is speaking right now, a Strategic Account Manager here at LBMC. We also have on the line, like I said, Michael Hollingsworth with Center Prism, going to be doing the presentation today, much more important than I. As far as questions, please put your questions in the question box or on the right-hand side, and we'll get to those at the end. We'll let Michael go through his presentation, and then we will have those questions at the end, so we'll do that. Also, we'll be recording today's webinar, so once we have that all set up and ready, we will send that over to any attendees as well as registration who registered. We'll send that out today as well. So our Vision 2020 registration is now open. So this is our annual user conference held here in Charlotte. Has really great content. 2 days of GP mixed in with some Business Central, some CRM. We wanted to learn about those as well. So certainly register for that if you're interested. Look forward to seeing you. So we'll go ahead and start. Michael, you just take it away.
Thank you very much, Sarah and Ashley. So again, my name is Michael Hollingsworth, and I am with a company called Center Prism. So Center Prism is a full spectrum ERP. We have a solution specifically for GP, and what we've done is we've built this overlay in advanced technology, and I'm specifically going to focus on a tool called Prism View. So Prism View, and the title of the presentation, Prism View, is it better than Excel? We think it is, mainly because everyone we've shown this to says it is. Better than Excel, better than Smart List, but I want you to tell me what you think. So what is Prism View? So here is Prism View. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through each of these views. These views are, if you can picture an Excel spreadsheet or a Smart List, it's like that, but better. So what we're going to do is cover my favorite Prism views, starting with accounting, starting with General Ledger, since everybody has General Ledger. There are 7 features that we think are way better than Excel and Smart List. The first is the fact that I can take a list and group it. What is grouping? So I can take any of these columns and group it upwards. What I'm doing is I'm grouping fields or columns, and I'm putting them where I can resort and then drill down or expand. This is a large file. It's 26,000 records, so this is very responsive. So each time I do this, it immediately changes what I'm doing. So I can do it like that, and then I can expand. So, and I can do it with every click here, which automatically expands. This is real-time data, so unlike Excel, I don't have to export or import. I'm seeing my data real-time. Then, as I want to, I can drill down on any record. We call this dynamic drill downs because we maintain the functionality within the actual drill downs. So that's the grouping. The second thing is called the field chooser. The field chooser, you tell me if this is easier than adding columns in a Smart List. I can add. Notice here I'm adding columns. I'm in the middle of a view, or I can subtract and take away. If I feel like it, I can just grab and slide it. Maybe I want a field there. I just slid a field and put it there. Maybe I don't want it there. I can move it over here. I can actually move it right off the screen. And I can change this as I need to. Just move things right off the screen. I'm actually moving fields, and they just move back into my field chooser. I can then save this grid as I need to or reset it if I want to start over. The next feature is our filter, the Prism filter. Every column, notice, has a little funnel, we'll call it. Every funnel gives you the value of that field. So I can go into any of these fields and say, let's go ahead and filter. I can filter by an exact value. Give me an exact value that I'm looking for. And then in filters, a 26,000 view into that value, and I can still drill down. Maybe I want to see everything. So I'm going to go back and just reset it and see everything. Maybe I want to do a custom, and I'll show you this feature in other views where it's really much nicer to have. So we have the ability to add and create custom filters. Now the next thing is called the Prism Summary. The Prism Summary is where I can grab, just like for those folks who really like the Excel pivot tables, I can do a calculation instantly. And so what we've done on every column that has a financial value, we've enabled this to work. I can easily turn on and off. I can go and have multiple calculations and multiple financials. And what's great is whatever I've calculated, I can see that it's instantly calculating and subcalculating and sub-subcalculating with every group and drill down. All I got to do is click the little plus sign and I can go into that data. Next, I have the ability to do what I call comparative data. So let's go into my next favorite smart list, or actually my next favorite Prism view, which is actually a smart list but better. So I'm going to go into receivables. So here's what we've done here. On the receivables, we have built-in Prism views. So we have payment summaries. Would it be nice to very quickly do an aging summary just like that? What I've done is we've built these summaries to automatically calculate. I can easily filter from date ranges. I can say, give me year to date. I can search. It filters it down. I can then go back to transactions, or I can filter within these grids. When I do this, I can then do custom calculations, or I can bring this up a second time. So first, I'll show you that I can drill down. Now, one thing we've done here with all the drill downs is we've made it very, very user-friendly. So, for example, let me group it by the document type, and let me go back to seeing all transactions here. And we'll go, let's see, we'll grab this and grab this. So I have built in here a document type, and when I do, if I double-click on these, notice here I'm drilling down onto the actual transaction. What we can do here with Prism View is we can have multiple drill downs. This can't be done with GP. I can go in here and now I have 3 different views, and I'm putting it in my ribbon. So I can go back, I can keep the view that I have here. I can group by let's group it by customer name. And so within the customer, I can see different drill downs here, and then double click, and away we go. So now I have all these drill downs, and we give you all the fields on one screen, so you don't have to worry about having to click a button or get it on there. So, and I can move these around as I need to. The other thing we do is where we do the comparatives. So let's say I want to do year-to-year comparisons. What I'm doing is I'm clicking on receivables. And what I'm seeing here is the ability to look at 2 different years simultaneously. So let me grab this view and move it down. I'm moving it down next to this. So we got this view and this view. So maybe I want to look at a year-to-date on one view, and I'll grab these down so we can kind of see what I'm doing. And maybe I want to look at, let's look at aging summary. So I'm now looking at aging summary year-to-date, and maybe I want to, on the next one, I'm going to look at another aging summary, and let's grab a date range. So let me go here, and let's leave it at that. So if I didn't want to, I can do this. I can actually make it side by side and split the screen. I can make it horizontal or vertical. So if I do a horizontal, I can do it that way. Maybe I don't want to. I'll move it like that, and maybe I want to do a vertical. So let's close that and move this back up here. Cancel that. Let's see, I'll move this back to previous tab, and I'm going to open this again and show you a side-by-side. So let's go here, and we'll grab two of these receivables, one here, and I'm going to do a vertical. So now we have 2 years. So I can see within different years here, I can do year to date, I can change the views here, and I can move fields off that I don't need just to see what I'm trying to see. So what I'm looking for is my total amount, which is this one here. And I can see I have 4 million here versus the same range, which is, and I'll pull some fields off of here that I don't need. And I can see then I have a similar, that's the remaining, here's the document right here. So now I have, between two different views, I have different, I can see simultaneous year-to-year comparisons. And when I'm done with that, I can go back and move to the previous group and just bring it to one view. So that's called side-by-side. Another question I get asked to is, can I do multiple databases? We can. I'll show that at the very end. Next, I'm going to go into, since we're in sales, we have receivables. I also want to point out, too, that we can have drill downs within drill downs. So for example, this was the view, the receivables view that I clicked on from receivables. I can come down here and click on a payment. So this is a cash receipts view. So I'm drilling into a cash receipt so I can see what check paid those 2 invoices. So that is part of receivables. Let me close these out, and we'll show you another view here. So we're going to go into more of sales. So sales activity is another one that is very popular. So sales activity, let's look at a date range, and I can go back. Let's go back a couple of years here to show you how powerful this is. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to find every, in fact, let's find every transaction type open. So I can actually review, go back several years, open and historic transactions, and all document types. And this is line item detail. I'll show you what this does. So this is a very powerful search. It only takes a matter of seconds. And I'm looking at multiple years of history with complete drill down capability. And I'm going to show you how powerful this is. So one thing we can do is also have separate databases and highlight important item numbers, which you'll see here. So if you see, look at the color code, we have catalog items, we have kits, we have non-inventory, and regular categories. So as you'll see here, when I look at this item detail, I can easily pick out those things that aren't really as part of my item record, but they're more part of separate special functions or databases like catalogs or kits or things like that. We have this other toggle here. We call this include item detail. So we're looking at line item detail, and I'm going to show you how powerful this is. The thing that we have too is we can easily convert to a doc detail just by a click of a button, and of course we have the full grouping as we do. So let me just do this here. So then we have, and incidentally, I can leave multiple things up simultaneously while this is running here. Okay, so here's this view. So when I have this view, this little button here, I have line item detail, then it converts back to what we call a doc detail. So the doc detail, it shows individual docs that make up a date range. Let's pull the date range a little larger here. Let's go back. Okay, and find documents. So then we have the drill downs as we talked about. Okay, so if I want to go back to making it an item detail, then the benefit is I might be track an item. So with this, I can group it by more like inventory information or customers or vendors, because I might want to look at different things like that. So let's see. There we go. All right, I'm going to group it by customers. So if I group by the customer, I can see which customers are buying what things. I might look at it from a bestseller point of view. So if I see it from a bestseller point of view, this is more item detail and how customers have been buying it. So I can go to one of my items here, For example, this is a specific screw, and I can see each customer, how many transactions. This customer has 127 transactions where they bought this item, and I can see each transaction. I can actually drill down on it and look at the actual detail. And we're actually, and this is live, so I'm looking at order entry detail, where I'm seeing item information, I'm seeing shipping information, notes, serial numbers, transactions, and audits. Audits would be every time a transaction has been changed. So we have that availability. I can do multiple drill downs. I can do another drill down here and leave these up. So I have multiple drill downs. Maybe I want to look this from a salesperson point of view. So I can just pull this over here. Now I'm looking at for who my best salespeople are for this time period. So I can see this salesperson isn't selling well, but then this one, it might be selling much better. Or I can go down and see it by line item, or maybe just grab this over here and do it by customer, so I can see which customer is representing my best sales. And it looks like my best salesperson is more than likely down here. Yeah, Paul. He's almost probably 80% of my sales. So that is the power of this. I could then, if I want to, even bring in more fields. I can grab a vendor and pull this wherever I want to, maybe even pull it up to the grid, and then I can group it this way, and then see this way, salesperson, and all these are drill downable. So it's very easy to manipulate data, and I can expand and add more fields. I can leave this up, and then we'll go into purchasing. So purchasing, we have different things here. We have the payables, and we have purchase history. So payables, from a financial point of view, is very strong. If I went to a transactional view, I can look at every transaction type. Here I have, let's see, I want to pull this up here. So I have credit memos, invoices, and payments. So I can look at invoices, I can look at credit memos, I can double click in any of these. Again, I'm seeing the drill down. Going back to there, I can go back into another, let's say an invoice, and so I can have corresponding views side by side, and then leave this open. Obviously, I can filter it if I'm only looking at a certain vendor. I can easily filter right in the middle of a view, and keep on filtering, and even by transaction type, just give me all the invoices, or all the payments. Okay, and we have individual other ones. How about a cash requirements report? I can do this. I can group it by the vendor. How about a aging summary? How about aging detail? So all these are drill downable, and I can open it up like this. We do have the ability to do multiple databases. That's why I see two different databases here. If you're not doing that, I can pull those off. Then we have the ability to go into any of the purchase history. So the purchase history is very strong here. That's purchase advisor, and then we have purchase activity. So purchase activity is looking at everything from a purchasing point of view. So I can then group it by vendor, go into here, go into these documents. These are actually purchase order inquiry zooms. Okay, I can group by any of these other tabs, maybe the PO type. So the PO type would be, I can move this over here, so I can see standard and each vendor and what they have. So this is the view for purchasing. We also have the ability to go into just purchase orders. Purchase orders would be just a nice view to look at your purchase orders. And we do give you visibility to, if you so decide, to see the closed and POs. And cancel ones, for example, I can go into the PO status, move this up where I like that. So I have received, released, unknown. All these are statuses. And I can go and drill down, and takes me right to purchase order entry. So if I want to see a received PO, I can double click, and it takes you right to that transaction. So that is the power of that. And this is an editable transaction. So we'll get out of that and get out of that. I have then in the purchasing, we do have the vendors where each vendor, we've embellished the vendor records, so I can take these vendor records. I have all these tabs so I can see all these things, but I want to point out that we give you the ability to see the purchase orders, the payables. So within a vendor, I can just easily see this information, and there's your PO receipts. Now we jump over to inventory. Inventory is very powerful. This is where a lot of people really find some really strong tools. I'm going to jump into the inventory transactions. What you can't do in GP is see a global view of every adjustment, transfer, and variance. So I'm looking at those. These are adjustments. These are transfers. I can group it by any of these document types. If I want to pull in another field, I can grab another field from my field chooser. If I want to, I can drill down into the actual adjustment, see what is happening, and then I can go into do the same with transfers and all of that. We also then have some other tools built within the item record, which I'll show you. Item status is another tool. Item status, and we've taken these Prism views, these smart lists that we've seen in the GP. We've added here. So we have the first one that we default to is the inventory valuation. I can easily see my valuation, which is my current value of inventory, which is what you have on hand times the current cost. I can then group it, filter it however I want to. I can add fields, as I showed you before. If you want to add maybe a vendor ID to see things by vendors, I can have a vendor name, stick that anywhere I want to. Maybe group it by vendors, see which vendor I buy from the most. I have 6 million in inventory. My guess is I buy a lot there's 1.9 million from Hillman. I think I buy a bunch from Anchor, about 239,000, so I can see, and if I feel like it, then I can actually drill into the item record. The item record is a redesign, so we redesigned the item maintenance screen in GP to really give you a lot more information. You know, for example, the site IDs, the order points. We actually update the order point. Things like each vendor has their own little costs and all that. So if I wanted to see, let's say, every time invoice history has been updated, I can track that, see what PO, every cost I've received or invoiced. The important thing too is then I can look at this individual item and I can still group it by the transaction type, and I can see every adjustment, every cost adjustment, purchase receipt, sales invoice, sales return, transfer, and I have all the daytime user stamp plus all the cost implications. So that is the item record. Last couple of things here before we end our time is we'll go into some things we've done with bill of materials. So we do have a much better way to look at bill of materials through Center Prism. We also have ability to look into WIP. WIP is not possible in GP. We do this where we are using assemblies that you set up in GP, and we're actually tracking the process that assembly is being built. So we've added other fields, for example, a stage. So we have you might have different stages that you're using to build. So while an item is being assembled, it stays into this work in progress stage, and then when it becomes a finished good, it takes it out of work in progress. So this is very handy for those customers who are really trying to get into their assemblies and really wondering how much is actually being built. And so very quickly I can see my quantity stock that's actually tied up in the work in progress that's actually being built. And then when it comes finished, I can see the date when it's started, when it stopped, and when it's released. So that's built in. Okay, and then the last thing we'll show you here is when we get into the dashboard. So we do have a couple of executive dashboards that we've built in here. So what the dashboards do, it lets you calculate what we call KPIs, key performance indicators, but I can also then, from a real management point of view, I can very quickly update this. If I want to look at a certain month, it changes real time. Look at today, you know, and these things get recalculated based on whatever date range I pick. If I want to pick maybe a last, you know, for all of last year, which we'll do back December 31st, and then hit search. Then all these values change based on what I've done here, and then these become clickable, these hyperlinks. So then these will actually launch the appropriate Prism views right from here just by clicking. So this shows me I have 56 quotes. So then I can launch the quotes, and then these are all my quotes. If I want to see it from a document point of view, I uncheck that, and then this becomes from a line item point of view to a document point of view. We have several tabs and purchasing. We even have an integrated CRM, and of course the financials. So all these are hyperlinks that I can drill down on. So looks like my time has about run out, so we're going to stop.
This is such a great solution. I think it's really, really useful to almost any. So certainly see the value. Thank you. If you have any questions or want some more information about Center Prism, don't hesitate to reach out to your strategic account manager, Lisa, or I, Ashley, and then Shelby as well also can answer some questions. So we really appreciate everyone's time, and I hope you guys have a great day.